Every company has the same hidden problems, and this is where they lose money. When it comes to human resources, there are basically two main places where businesses leak money. One of them is onboarding, and the other one is knowledge management. In this video, I will show you exactly how much money you can save by implementing AI in your onboarding and knowledge management. We will also go through the exact numbers based on research and data of how much money you leak when you're not implementing AI. Also, later in the video, I will show you an exact AI automation that can solve this problem and save you tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, so how did I come to this conclusion? For the past 10 years, I've been managing global projects in several industries such as finance, wealth management, health and fitness, and IT. I also have an experience in software development and DevOps engineering, and this is my way of combining the two words and finding the business needs and business knowledge and also combining that with IT solutions to make it easier and make it more profitable. Okay, so let's look at the examples. So as I said, basically there are two main parts where businesses leak money when it comes to human resources. One of them is onboarding. With onboarding, one of our main resources we spend is time. At the beginning, when new hires come, they spend a lot of times in meetings, they spend a lot of times going through PDFs that has like 100 different versions, right? So this is the exact cost when you spend when you're onboarding your new hires. So one of the main goals you're trying to find is how to save time when it comes to onboarding. This is how AI integration comes in, and you will see later in the video how we can solve that. Okay, so on the other hand, we have knowledge management, right? So with knowledge management, we are trying to save money by keeping the knowledge within the company, right? So how can we do that? So let's see the numbers. So what happens when junior staff leaves, what happens when mid-year staff leaves, and what happens when senior staff leaves, right? So the average pay for a junior staff in Europe is $43,000, and for mid-year staff is $84,000, and for senior staff is $122,000. Okay, so that's their annual average in Western Europe. And what happens when they leave? So for junior staff is going to be somewhere around $13,000. So that's the exact money you're spending when they leave to find a replacement, right? For mid-year staff, it's going to be their annual salary because it's going to be around 100%. And for senior staff, it's going to be a staggering $183,000 just to find the replacement, right? Because senior staff carries the most knowledge. And this is what you're trying to save with AI. These are the amounts that you're spending to find the replacement. And obviously, you cannot decrease that to zero, but with AI integration, AI knowledge management, you can definitely decrease these numbers significantly. Okay, so what would be the solution? When we talk about AI integration, the solution would be AI knowledge management, right? So how AI knowledge management works and how it can help onboarding and how it can help actual knowledge management within the company. So with the knowledge management system, what we do first as a step zero is we centralize documentation. So when documentation is centralized in terms of onboarding, new hires can search in the database, ask an AI assistant how it can help. For current employees, they can store their knowledge, meeting notes, meeting recordings, everything in the database. And this is how we try to keep the knowledge. And then once we centralized every document, every meeting video, every meeting notes, every transcript, everything we have, we move that into a vector database. Okay. So what is a vector database? Vector database, as we said, we can have documents, written documents, meeting notes, anything. We can have recorded videos, instructional videos. We can have meeting recordings. We can have audio files, anything. So let's imagine a scenario where an employee is looking for a payment period with a German company, and that's going to be in the contract with them, right? So what they would normally do is to go into, for example, Google Drive and type in the word contract or German company contract or XYZ company contract. But what if the actual document is called agreement, or it was a PDF with the date, PDF, and the version number after it? So it's going to be really hard to find. But once they do, they have to go through a lot of legal text and then find the payment period and then get the answer, right? But what if they have like 10 to 15 requests a day like this, or just a week? That's going to be a lot of time spent on just trying to find the information in different documents with different names, right? So this is where vector databases come in really handy, right? So what we do is we actually start feeding these documents into the vector database, these videos, these audio files, anything, as I said before. And once we store this into the vector database, it will store different chunks of text into the database. So it will take all the information, all the text from these inputs. It will turn the video and the audio files, everything into text. It will take those texts and put it into small chunks and convert them to numbers, vectors. That's why the name. And then it's going to store them by meaning. So it's not going to store them by, every German contract is going to be in one group or the other group. It's going to store everything by meaning. So maybe all the payment period questions are going to be stored at one place. All the legal entity questions are going to be in one place. Maybe all the employment contracts or employment questions are going to be in one place. And maybe all the invoicing questions are going to be in one place. Okay, so these are going to be stored by meaning. These are just small chunks of text, so not even one file or one document, just small chunks of text that can be found by meaning. Okay, so how an employee would find information like this with an AI assistant. So as I said in the example before, we are going to try to find the payment period for the German company XYZ. And what an employee would do with an AI assistant, it would ask the AI assistant, what is the payment period for the German company XYZ? And actually the AI agent would go into the vector database, try to find the closest meaning and get that chunk of text and then get it back to the AI assistant. And then we'll get the answer that the payment period for the German company XYZ is 60 days. And this is a lot of time saved during the week for companies. Okay, so this is how vector database works. And then the last step is to connect that database, as I said in the example, with an AI assistant. Okay, so this is what we're going to do now. Jump into the automation software on A10 and show you the exact automation that can do it for you with a real life example with real documents. So how the automation works. So as I said, we already have documentation centralized in a Google Drive. So let's imagine a folder like this one that has all the important company documents that you would want to manage in one knowledge base. And then once we have all the documents here centralized, we're going to check the format, check if it's a document, if it's a PDF, if it's a YouTube video, if it's an audio file, an MP4, it can be several different kinds. And then once we have that, we're going to prep the document, download it, and feed it into the vector database. So this is the vector database that I'm using for today, the Pinecone vector database. And then once it's uploaded to the database, it's going to update the file and move it to the edit to KMS folder. Okay, so once we're done with uploading all the data into the vector database, we're going to use an AI assistant to chat with to ask information about it. This is what I opened in the right side of the screen, which is a Telegram bot that is connected to the database. As you see, we're going to ask a question. The AI agent will go and find the relevant information based on meaning, based on the fingerprint that we talked about. It's going to go into the database, find the meaning that we're looking for, and then send the answer back right through Telegram. It's going to be like chatting with an assistant that knows all the knowledge that you need to gather from the company. Okay, so let's see an actual example. So I have a bunch of made up documents by ChatGPT of a company that is called Novatech, right? So we have core processes and your role, getting started with your tools, security and compliance 101, using the knowledge hub, welcome to Novatech solutions, right? General onboarding documentations. And then we're going to upload these to the knowledge base. Let's actually check it out. Okay, now that everything is uploaded to the database, we're going to go back to our Google Drive, refresh it, and see that everything is added to the KMS folder. Okay, so now we can actually check it out how it would work in real life with an AI assistant. So let's figure out which document we're going to get information from. Let's go with security and compliance. And we are gonna choose, let's say, reporting incidents, right? So we're gonna ask where we can report incidents at, and hopefully it's gonna give us back the IT security Slack channel and the security@novatech.com email address. Okay, just as a short, easy example. Okay, let me copy and paste the message here so you're not gonna see me butchering the typing, and let's see if it comes back to the answer. Right, so it came back right away within a minute. You can report security incidents via the Slack IT security channel or by email security@novatech.com, right? So exactly what the information we wanted to. What we could do is to actually do the German company example I was talking about. So we have a made up service agreement with XYZ GmbH, a German company, and it's a long document. And within there is the payment period I was talking about, which is 65 days, okay? So let's, and the document is named PDF 2025-1010 version 4, right? Just a real scenario that can happen in a company where we don't name PDFs or documents the way we should, okay? So we are going to add this to our vector database. Let's wait 1 second to do it. Great, already done. And then let's run our knowledge management system and let's ask, what are we up to? So, what is the payment period with the German company XYZ? Let's see. Okay, the payment with the German company XYZ is 65 days from the database channels of the invoice and service provider. Okay, so this is exactly what I said in the example with the vector database. So it knows what the meaning is and it can find the document without the document name or anything. That's the conclusion of what we talked about, right? So as we said, there are basically two main points where companies leak money when it comes to human resources. One is onboarding and the other one is knowledge management. When it comes to onboarding, we spend way too much time after onboarding with meetings, with PDFs, and this is the amount we spend on a new hire for onboarding. The other one is knowledge management, and with knowledge management, we are trying to make sure that knowledge stays within the company. We talked about how when junior staff, when mid-year staff, when senior staff leaves, which is a significant amount of money that we have to spend for replacing them, and how we would like to decrease the number for onboarding and the number for replacing employees is that we would like to implement AI knowledge management systems with AI automations and AI assistants. How it would solve our problem? We would make sure to centralize our documentation within a Google Drive or any kind of drive that you use at your company, and then we would feed those into a vector database that we know stores information based on meaning, not just words. And then once we have that in the vector database, we can ask our AI assistant in a simple chat, how can we get that information or what is that information? And it will search based on meaning and get the information back to us. Okay, so this is what I wanted to conclude in this video, how to make sure that your human resources are not leaking money and how AI integration can save you tens of thousands of dollars.